Cough, cough, you know, a reminder of the comment. I'm still waiting for Warhammer content. Well, it seems there's finally some 40k news that I'm interested in talking about, and it's a little underwhelming. So one of the factions that I collect and play in Warhammer 40k is Chaos Space Marines, and specifically I build and I paint mine and play mine as Iron Warriors. You know, using a model like Abaddon the Despoiler feels, you know, thematically, I guess, kind of correct, but also at the same time, I don't want to be like everybody else and use Abaddon. I mean, his rules are pretty good, but, So with the Arcs of Omen series of books, Games Workshop has introduced the new Chaos demigod Vashtorr the Arkifane. We've had the chance to read about him, to learn about him, and he's actually... I think he's a pretty cool character, and just look at this model. Look at this model. This is a bitchin' model. So, I was actually pretty excited to learn that they weren't gonna release his rules in, you know, any of the Arcs of Omen books. They were gonna release them as a free PDF that you could just download. And you know what? That's a step in the right direction for you, Games Workshop, for how you're distributing rules. Very good, very good. More of this, please. So the rules have come out. We've had the chance to read them, and it's a mixed bag. So we can see here, Vashtorr the Arkifane. He is a HQ choice for Chaos Space Marines, 13 power. So, okay. He's not too bad. If we scroll down here for a second, he's just the one guy, and he's 260 points. Okay, not too bad. He's got the keywords Chaos, Heretic Astartes, Traitoris Astartes, okay. Keywords, Monster, Character, Fly, Demon, Agent of Chaos, Vashtorr the Arkifane. Okay, yeah, looking at him, you would expect to see that. Going into his data sheet, we're gonna go over the entire thing in full, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm overall kind of underwhelmed by this guy, and where I think, you know, okay, here's the good, here's the parts that I don't think are quite as good, and we'll just kind of go from there. He has 3 profiles. The only things that change from top profile to bottom are movement, which goes from 12 inches to 10 to 8, and then attacks, which go from 7 to 6 to 5. Everything else remains constant. He has a 2-up weapon skill, 3-up ballistic skill, 7 strength, 7 toughness. He has 14 total wounds. He has 9 leadership and a 2-up save. That's not too bad. He is equipped with Vashtorr's Claw and Vashtorr's Hammer. Your army can only include one of them, makes sense. Vashtorr's Claw. It is just a heavy flamer with an extra pip of AP. That's it. That's all it is. Just a heavy flamer with -2 AP instead of -1. We'll come back to this. Now the Hammer. Vashtorr's Hammer, I like this one. It's a dedicated melee weapon, shrink ×2, AP -2, 3 damage, and whenever you're attacking a vehicle, if you get a successful wound roll of 5 or higher, then the target takes 4 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. I really like this weapon. The only thing I would change is have it go from AP -2 to AP -3. Other than that, it's pretty good. Abilities, he has Warp Strike, which, see Codex Chaos Space Marines, it's like the deep strike ability. Here's the rules for it. I don't remember them dead offhand, but here's the rules for that. Then he also has a Body of Unholy Artifice, so he has a 4-up invuln save, and he takes -1 damage. Okay, so 14 wounds, 2-up save, 7 toughness, 4-up invuln save, takes -1 damage. He's reasonably chunky. Then he has this other ability called Will of the Arkifane. We have Unholy Mechanisms. Select one friendly Chaos Marine Demon Engine model, excluding character, aircraft, or Titanic units within 3 inches of this model. Until the start of your next command phase, that model is +1 to hit. There's one major flaw here in this ability, and it's the excluding character, aircraft, or Titanic units bit. Ghost in the Machine. When you select this ability, choose one enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to this model until the start of your next command phase. Cut the range characteristic of all their guns in half. Okay, that's not too bad. Agonize Machine Spirits. Select an enemy vehicle unit within 18 inches of and visible to this model. Cut that model's movement and attack characteristics in half. That one kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit because it's like, it's a vehicle. Vehicles aren't usually known for making a lot of attacks unless it's something like a knight or like maybe a death dread. Cutting the movement in half, that's pretty much always handy, but the attacks, that depends on what the vehicle is. But we see with that, he can affect vehicles. So why doesn't Unholy Mechanism do anything with vehicles? I know Vashtorr is like, he's the chaos demigod of like the Forge and demon engines and that sort of thing. But a lot of demon engines are also vehicles. So, and that other thing, his Unholy Mechanisms does not affect characters, aircraft, or Titanic. No Helldrake, no Khorne Lord of Skulls, no Lord Discordant. Just having a +1 to hit would be very, very helpful on a Khorne Lord of Skulls. And then there's his Warlord trait. If he's your Warlord and gains a trait, he must have Lord of Terror from Codex Chaos Space Marines. This is a not this no, that's not a no. Depending on the foe you're going up against, if you're going up against something like Knights, that's just useless. Against something like Space Marines, maybe. But if you're fighting something like Orcs, I suppose, and you just go and paste several of them, I could just almost guarantee a failure of a morale check and also combat attrition. Going back to his Claw, why is it just a heavy flamer with 1 extra pip of AP? So the Lord Discordant, the Helldrake, they have this flame weapon called the Bale Flamer. And, well, here's the stats for the Bale Flamer. Here's the stats for Vashtorr's Claw. What the hell? I would change this to be Assault D6 +3 maybe, and then at least have it be on par with the Bale Flamer in terms of strength, AP, and damage. Hell, have it be like strength 7, AP -2 is fine, I guess, and then have it be like 2 damage. There you go. And also, he has an actual claw. There's like a flamer embedded into his claw. Why doesn't he make extra attacks with the claw? Why doesn't he do that? Like, I love the idea of this guy being a warp entity that makes and maintains demon engines, but why can't he repair the demon engines? Why can't he buff Titanic or aircraft ones? Why does the Helldrake or the Lord Discordant have a better flamer? I mean, the hammer's fine. I like the hammer. I would just bump its AP by 1 point. But, here's another thing. Why isn't he a Psyker? I feel like he could use, some psychic ability. Maybe have him be able to cast 2, deny 1 or something. Maybe he knows Smite and, like, a couple of his own exclusive powers, like Bellacore. I'm sorry, this is just all over the shop at the moment, but he's supposed to represent, like, creation of demon engines and that sort of thing. Why can't he repair demon engines? Why can't he repair vehicles? Why can't he apply this +1 to hit buff to vehicles? Not all vehicles are demon engines. I think pretty much every demon engine is a vehicle, but not all vehicles are demon engines in Chaos Marines. We know he can affect vehicles with Agonize Machine Spirits and also Ghost in the Machine. It doesn't specify that it has to be infantry or anything like that. It could also be a vehicle. But there is also the Army of Renown called the Cogs of Vashtorr. So the restrictions here are all units from your army have to be Chaos Marines. Your Warlord has to be Vashtorr. And with the exception of Vashtorr, you cannot have any named characters or demon princes. You cannot have any Khorne Berserkers, Rubric Marines, Plague Marines, or Noise Marines. Okay, that sounds fair enough. Now, what you get out of this is All units from your army gain the Cogs of Vashtorr keyword. You gain access to their specific relics and stratagems. Units from your army gain the Tech Infernal Foci ability. And detachments in your army never count as a Legion detachment. And you also cannot use any Legion-specific stratagems, relics, warlord traits, or psychic powers. The ability Tech Infernal Foci. If this unit has the Demon Engine keyword, it is always considered to be engaged in wanton destruction, massacre, and slaughter. If this unit does not have the Demon Engine keyword, it is never considered to be engaged in wanton destruction, massacre, and slaughter. It really just wants you to play Demon Engines with this one. Relics. In addition to the relics found in Codex Chaos Space Marines, you'll have access to the Cogs of Vashtorr specific relics. And so all the Demon Engines are the Lord Discordant, the Decimator, the Venom Crawler, the Helldrake, the Defiler, the Forge Fiend, the Mauler Fiend, the Khorne Lord of Skulls, the Greater Brass Scorpion. Oh, but Vashtorr himself is not able to affect the Helldrake, the Lord of Skulls, the Lord Discordant, the Greater Brass Scorpion. But you know what can? Look at this guy. This is a Warpsmith. His name's Steve. Say hi to Steve. Steve is a Warpsmith, so that gives him the abilities Master of Mechanisms. At the end of your movement phase, this model can repair one friendly vehicle model within 3 inches of it. That vehicle regains up to D3 lost wounds. And he also has Enrage Machine Spirits. In your command phase, this model can enrage one friendly vehicle model within 3 inches. If it does so, all that vehicle's ranged attacks are +1 to hit until the start of your next command phase. So, vehicle models. That includes things like the Lord Discordant, the Hellbrute, the Decimator, all the Chaos Contemptor, Deradeo, and Leviathan Dreadnoughts, the Venom Crawler, the Helldrake, the Land Raider, the Predator, Annihilator, and Destructor, the Vindicator, the Defiler, the Forge Fiend, the Mauler Fiend, the Lord of Skulls, the Greater Brass Scorpion, the Rhino. And you can just do that every turn. You know, this guy. Let me put it to you like this. This is the Khorne Lord of Skulls. Because it is a vehicle, the Warpsmith can repair it and enrage it every turn. Vashtorr can't. It is a demon engine, but because it's Titanic, no go. Vashtorr, the demonic demigod of the Forge who makes demon engines, can't. I'm mighty disappointed in this datasheet, and I don't know. So it seems the way he's set up is to be a big old mortal wound beat stick for enemy vehicles, which, okay, that's fine. And then you compare him to the rules that Azrael got, new Primaris Azrael model, that's gonna come in the same box set as this guy, Wrath of the Soulforge King. Pre-orders go up for that on the 11th of March. So, you know, looking at the rules for the new Azrael model, it seems that Games Workshop, once again, have given the ultimate win to Loyalist Space Marines, because of fucking course they did. Yeah. This comment right here by John Mason on Auspex Tactics video about this datasheet sums it up very, very well. Makes an entire season about him. Gas him up to be the super big bad. Very dangerous. Now let's make him borderline useless. Genius. Fuck me.